Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome to the show, where we interview the nation's leading real estate entrepreneurs. It's your host, Stephen Schmidt, and we're back at it again here on this fine Monday. I got Kevin Gardner in the house today here in the studio, and we're going to be talking about his background, his experience. He's a tech guru is really what he is. He spent 20 years with Comcast and was actually responsible for managing the team that negotiated agreements with most multifamily property owners. And so we're going to kind of go into this. This is a really interesting niche that I haven't been able to discover so far, and he's got some really interesting insights for all of you that are investing in multifamily property. So just before we get started, remember at Investor Fuel, we help real estate professionals, service providers, and real estate investors 2 to 5x their businesses so they can build the businesses they've always wanted in order to live the lives they've always dreamed of, because that's what we get into the real estate business for in the first place, not to just have a job. We want to live the dream. So with that being said, Kevin, welcome to the show today.
Steven, thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
You bet, man. So give us a little bit of a background for our listeners' sake. Tell us kind of how you got started and what you're doing. I mean, you spent a very, seasoned time, I would say, with Comcast. Most people don't spend 20 years with the company anymore. That seems to be something that's kind of going out of style real quick. And so give us a little bit of your background and how you got into exactly what you're doing now and what you do it through.
Well, believe it or not, I started selling cable door to door.
No kidding.
I had need for a job. I had a young family starting, and I started selling cable door to door for Comcast. I learned the business, and I was lucky enough to find the right opportunities and grow. And after 20 years, I was a vice president of sales and marketing. And one of those areas that I oversaw was, the multifamily property agreement, commercial development department was part of my team. And so I learned a lot. And, Comcast was small at that point, and I really liked that ability to grow with them. I really enjoyed that entrepreneurial spirit. But like with all companies, when you get large, you become, I think, a little less entrepreneurial. And, there's more guidelines, there's more, structure. And it just, I don't know. I love that entrepreneurial spirit that seemed to fall away. And so I started my own company, and we were able to identify that a lot of people in the apartment, mobile home community, especially new investors, didn't realize that there needed to be an agreement in place with the providers that are on your property. The most common thing we get is somebody that says, oh, well, we don't pay for their service, even though that's a whole other discussion we can have about the fact that you can pay for that service and offer it as an amenity. And so we really saw an opportunity to not only to provide a service, but also just to educate people.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
About the fact that there is an added value opportunity for revenue that exists in this area of the business that a lot of people just didn't realize was there.
Now, how big of a deal is this from your perspective, especially with like the multifamily stuff? Because it sounds like something that maybe people don't realize, like, oh, there's actual value that I have, especially as an investor. There's like actual value that I have to get more so than just, rents, for example.
Right. Well, it depends, because the type of deals we can get done depend on the property, depends on the providers. Some are more aggressive in this area than others. It depends on whether or not there's an agreement in place or not. So I hate to not answer your question, but it's, you're probably going to pick up $20 to $30 a unit per year, plus a one-time incentive. That's the ongoing revenue, plus a one-time incentive. And, depending on what your cap rates are and how big the property is, it could have a, rather significant impact on the asset value of your property.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shoot, man, 30 bucks a year per unit. If you got 300 of them, I mean, that's still not $9,000 is $9,000. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And then if we find a lot of investors, we find them early, and they may be syndicators, and they may be only planning to hold the property for 3 to 5 and move the needle on it, and then refinance it or sell it. And so that asset value has a significant impact on their decisions and on what they want to, where they want to focus. And our model is really turnkey, right? We do all the heavy lifting. We need a little bit of information, but if they're trying to do a lot of things, this isn't something where they have to go out there and supervise anything on site or commit a lot of hours to the process. So we find that it's, one of the great lessons I learned at Comcast was when I was traveling with our CFO one time, and the owner of the company asked for a senior discount as we were checking into a hotel. And he turns to me and looks at me and he says, he gets it. And the one lesson you need to learn is $1 million is just $1,001 bills. So you got to take care of everything along the way. And that's what we contribute, right? We contribute because there's no out-of-pocket cost for our service. We're commission. We get a percentage of what you get. So the more we get for you, the more we get. So our goals are aligned. And as a result, you don't pay us until we generate revenue for you, and then it's a small percentage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you this, you're kind of in an interesting position where you're already seeing things other people are missing. What are you seeing in the market right now that other people might be missing?
I think more than anything is just that awareness that I talked about initially, just that education. And if you talk to the providers, right, the AT&T, Spectrum, Comcast, the providers, they prefer a certain kind of contract over others. And what we find is that because they're salespeople, right, and they want you to have this agreement, the agreement they recommend is a bulk agreement, right? And that absolutely makes sense for some properties, but not for all.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
And what we like to do is we like to educate. First step we want to know is we want to learn from our clients. What are your investment goals? Are you creating generational wealth? Or are you trying to, buy and flip this property and you have money to pay back? So, because those goals can dictate what type of agreement makes the most sense for your property at that time.
How is that? Out of curiosity, I don't mean to interrupt, but how is that? How can that affect things, change things?
Well, there's the two primary agreements are bulk contract. And a bulk contract is where you pay for service for all your units and you basically offer it as an amenity. Okay? But it's an expense for you. And not everybody wants to have that expense liability unless they're certain that they can charge more in rent or an amenities fee to offset and cover that cost. And if you get into a bulk agreement, the providers typically don't want to leave that bulk agreement because that's the one they prefer. They get to count 100% of the customers. It's one bill. It's easier operationally for them, and they're trying to streamline their operations. And in some places, especially A-class properties in a highly competitive market, it makes a ton of sense. But I always tell people, you got to look at that like you're investing in that for 5 years, right? You have to see, is it going to pay back? Because you're paying for everybody that every unit, regardless of whether or not it's occupied or the person wants or uses that service. You have to think about it the same way as, hey, I bought a property, it doesn't have a fitness center. I want to invest and put a fitness center on there, but you're paying the same amount regardless of how many people use it. So you really have to dig in and see if it makes sense for your property or not. We've got some that are seniors, a lot of senior properties where they don't want internet as an amenity, but they still value video services because that's what they're used to, and they don't use the internet as much. So the value isn't there as much. So, that's why we want to find out what's your property, what's the class, what's the occupancy, are you doing renovations? Are you looking to sell out in 3 to 5 years, or are you going to hold this and pass it down for generations? Because that 5-year obligation for expense, what if you're trying to sell in 3 years to somebody who doesn't want that agreement and sees it as a negative, but there's another property down the street that's comparable that doesn't have that type of an agreement? So those are a lot of the things. And that's why I hate it when somebody says, well, what can I get, right? What can I get? Well, the answer is it's different for everybody. Just like when you're trying to buy a property, a 100-unit property here and a 100-unit property there don't have the same value, the same goals, they're not the same. What you're willing to pay per door here and what you're willing to pay per door here are different based on the property. Same holds true with what is the right contract, the best contract, and what kind of deal we can get. It's gonna vary by property.
Sure. How do you find most of your deals or clients?
Well, thankfully, we've got a good referral program. We also do podcasts. We are active on LinkedIn. We solicit, people that sign up for our newsletter and things like that. So it's a combination of things. We've got a lot of stuff out there. Probably the best thing is that there's a lot of educational forums out there, and we like to do business with people that are new to the business, and then we stay with them and we grow as they grow. I went to one of these conferences and I met a guy who at that point had 20 some units, and quite frankly, that was too small for us to do anything with.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
And I forget how many years ago this was, probably 5, maybe 6 years ago. And the guy's up to over 2,000 units now. So needless to say, we've grown with him, and that's been very satisfying for us and for him.
Yeah, absolutely. What's a mistake that costs you time or money, and what did you learn from it?
A mistake. I mean, we spend a lot of time. We spend a lot of time, but I look at it as an investment, not necessarily a mistake, because some of our clients are
Sure.
actively shopping for properties, and they'll say, "Hey, we were looking at this one property. What can you tell us about this?" And we might be able to go in there and we spend time investigating what their options might be, and then they walk away from the deal for one reason or another, right? So we spend a lot of time that doesn't necessarily turn into an agreement, but we're their business partners, so we feel long term. We're trying to develop long term relationships, not do short term deals where we're not looking in this for
Yeah.
the short term check. So in some ways, it does take some of our time that could be used for getting deals done. But at the same time, it's an investment in our relationship with our clients. So it's hard to say that that's really a bad thing overall.
Yeah, for sure. What's something you wish more investors were honest about?
Hmm. Um, I don't think they're intentionally not honest about this, but we
Sure.
get a lot of people that come in and say, we tell them about our service. Oh, yeah, we want to do this. We want to do it as soon as possible, right? I had somebody on the
Mhm.
phone 3 weeks ago um, on a Friday evening. We got to get this done. I need the money. I need the money. I want to get this done, right? I got these 2 properties. We got to get these deals done. And so I did everything and we'd been working on them already, but we needed to do some groundwork. And so I put everything else behind me, and by early that next week, we had deals that he only had to agree to, right? It's been 3 weeks and numerous phone calls and messages and things like that. And for whatever reason, something else became more important, changed his mind, whatever. So, the
Sure.
urgency sometimes comes across as this is the most important thing in our world. I need you to do this ASAP. And then when it actually comes to doing it, there's a delay in it. So,
Mm.
and again, I don't think it's intentional. I mean, things happen. This is business. We all
Sure.
know that things happen, and so I don't think it's intentional. But that's one of the things that is delays the process a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. What would you say was the biggest turning point in your business?
It's interesting. There's a book by one of my favorite authors called The Tipping Point, Malcolm Gladwell, right? And he talks and he uses a bunch of examples, and it's always like slow, 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 and then boom, all of a sudden it just takes off when you get this certain amount of a certain volume. And, several years ago, we hit that tipping point and we
Mm.
found out what things worked for us. Get on podcasts, send out newsletters, offer a referral program. We've got for all new leads, we've got a 4 week email process. We do one post a week, usually on LinkedIn. So we've got the system down, and it seemed like it really hit and we did some other things to create some efficiency so we could handle with our existing resources more agreements and get more deals done. And so we kind of hit that tipping point a few years ago, and now it just seemed to have accelerated. We've got a lot of these people that we invested time in early, and they've grown their portfolios. So that just is like, hey, I mean, I don't go through a week without somebody, one of our clients saying, hey, or we're looking at this, or we just bought this, or, what can we do for this? So we've got a significant number of clients, and they've got a significant number of properties. So we just hit that tipping point, and it's been good, solid growth since then.
Yeah. What does growth look like for you in the next 12 to 24 months, let's say?
I expect within 24 months we'll be double what we are today. So
in terms of staff or revenue, or how do you
I
quantify
think
that?
we have to double in everything, almost double, right? It's not exactly double, but revenue should be double. Our clients continue to buy properties, so the number of properties we're managing should continue to double. We're getting more efficient as a staff, so we wouldn't need to double our staff, but we'll certainly need to add staff. So yeah, it's growing. I don't know. I mean, regulations could change things. The business has already changed several times since we've been in it. But sometimes it changes one way and sometimes it changes back. But it's our job to figure out the solution for our clients to monetize their broadband rights. So when it changes, all that means is we have to change a little bit. And the most recent change by the FCC in 2022 didn't impact our clients significantly. And in some cases, it impacted them positively.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, I'm super appreciative you took some time to come on the show and share your experience with us today. Is there anything else that you would want to leave it all on the table for our folks?
Again, we're in it with them, right? We want to be a business partner. And even though I've used the word client several times, we're in it together. If they don't win and benefit from our service, we don't either, right? And I think that says a lot about the kind of company we are. Also,
and you're in all 50 states?
We can provide our service in all 50 states. Correct.
Sounds awesome. So where should people go to connect with you personally? Not necessarily just like for, business, but if somebody wants to learn about what you're working on, like your social media, for example, like what would be a great place to connect with you for more?
Well, as a hobby, I've also written a couple of books. So I'm on Facebook, nice. Kevin Gardner. I've got on LinkedIn, I've got all my books and everything listed on there. So I write I use my middle initial J when I write, just to kind of keep things out. But I've written several self-help books that have come, that have lessons I've learned from business, lessons I've learned from life, as I shared with you, and I don't hide this. I'm 9 years sober, lessons I've learned in sobriety, lessons I've learned helping other people, with their sobriety. So, I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook. We've got a website, multifamilyutilitysolutions.com. My book is Change Your Thinking, Ignite Your Life, and there's a website for that as well. So.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, go connect with them for more, folks. Show them some love from the Real Estate Pros podcast and Investor Fuel. And we appreciate you coming on, Kevin, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.